Dice Company contains fantasy violence, mature themes, and unapologetic bickering. No feelings were hurt in the making of it, but listener discretion is advised. Dice Company will always be free, but it's not free to make. Please consider supporting us on Patreon or Apple Podcasts and get access to our weekly roundtable show Extra Roll. Just follow any of the links in the show notes for this chapter.
In Lunadine, the Empire's proud heart rots behind walls of marble and gold. Yet, in a battered old cart, a strange fellowship has taken shape. Not from loyalty nor love, but out of fear and necessity. Every creak of the cart feels loud enough to summon the bounders behind them. Vander rides alongside Augustus at the front, his face grim, one scarred hand tight in his robes, while Bennie lays in the back, curled up under his cloak. Tock sits apart from the others, motionless. He bears no cloak against the breeze, no shade against the sun. Only the heavy satchel at his side, filled with something of priceless value. The countryside sprawls ahead of you, quiet and wary. Squat farmhouses huddle behind stone walls. Empty lanes snake between bountiful fields. The dew lies heavy on the ground, and the wind carries the scent of wood smoke and distant fear. Behind you, Lunadine City has long since sunk behind the hills, swallowed by distance and heat haze. But freedom remains a fragile thing. The Empire's reach is long, and its vengeance longer still. You fled under cover of chaos. A bounder tortured and broken in a nameless alley, a station breached and ransacked, a gemstone pried from the Empire's iron grasp. Now you chase a wilder prize, an air elemental, a creature of storm and breath, the last spark Vander needs to wake his hidden ship, a ship that might carry you far beyond the Empire's grasp, if you survive to find it. Even as far out as you are, the Emperor's personal airship, the Ravager, can be seen ominously hovering over what you know to be Lunadine on the horizon. The land where you are now seems beautiful at a glance, with rolling verdant meadows dappled with patches of vibrant wildflowers. But you know better. In Alestia, the soil itself remembers blood, and even the bravest heroes can be forgotten in the wilds of nature. Having travelled for hours, Augustus pulls the cart to a stop so that you can rest for a moment. Can I have perception checks, please?
I rolled a 6 for perception, so well done me.
I rolled a 19.
15. 21.
While Augustus and Bennie feed themselves, Vander, you notice a roughly built stone wall. Beneath a loose brick, you discover a small battered tin box with scrawled initials on the lid which read LW.
Can I open the box?
You open the box to find a handful of coins, 6 copper, 5 silver. There is also a delicate silver locket, its surface weathered by time. The locket's intricate engravings depict a mermaid, her hair flowing intertwined over the shimmering waves and her tail elegantly curved. The craftsmanship is exquisite, obviously made by a very skilled artisan. Opening the locket, you find a miniature portrait of a handsome man with long blonde hair like a mane, staring into the distance with a hint of longing in his eyes. While etched on the back of the locket is the phrase, "Forever sailing home to you, L. Winter." Alongside the coins and the locket is a folded piece of parchment, which you open and read. "To my darling Clara, this is all I have in the world. Use it to book passage off this accursed island. I'm about to do the unthinkable. Do not follow me. Yours always, Lucian."
Interesting. Well, I take the money, I close the box, And I replace the box because I'm not, all monster. I'm going to put that back there. I rejoin the group. Gentlemen, looks like our fortunes are turning up slightly. I found some coin there. It's locked away in the wall. I take it we're all equal sharers here.
Lovely.
Aye, sounds good.
Indeed.
Maybe we should just take this money and use it to buy some sort of desert island for ourselves and build a grand palace on it. Solve all our problems.
You're a dreamer, aren't you?
Oh, I am a dreamer.
As I clamber stiffly back onto the cart.
Was this all you found? Like 5 silver or something?
There was a box as well. Nothing really to tell, though.
Okay.
As you take your leave of the city's shadow, the air grows cleaner, cooler, and carries with it the hush of the countryside. A breeze stirs in the limbs of old oak trees that flank the road, their leaves whispering secrets in a tongue older than kings. The dirt path narrows and bends like a lazy serpent, trailing past thickets of hawthorn and wild rose, where brooks babble over stones worn smooth by time and rain. By afternoon, you come up on a clearing, a tranquil glade hemmed in by the encircling arms of the forest. The grass here is soft and damp beneath your boots, a patchwork of green and gold lit by the slanting light of the descending sun. It is the kind of place that invites rest, but does not promise safety.
I rest.
Tock doesn't really eat or drink, or really normally set up a camp. So he's just going to go and have a look at the plants and see what he can find nearby, unless someone's asking him for stuff.
To the east, beyond a veil of fern and foxglove, a stream winds its quiet path. Its waters murmur softly like a lullaby meant for beasts. Vander, your eyes catch upon a thicket grown wild beside the bank, a dense hedge of bramble and bloom, and there, a flash of scarlet. A small bird perched among the leaves. It tilts its head towards you with unsettling stillness. Then, in a blink, it flies away. In its flight, the hedge parts just enough to reveal a sliver of stone.
Tock, I don't suppose I could take a moment of your time, could I?
Tock looks at you slightly quizzically and said, "How would that work?"
I smile graciously. I don't suppose with your eyes, which must be much better than mine, you could see that hedge and maybe something that's hidden within it. It looks to me like there might be a statue there, something that might be worth checking out, something that really is beyond me old bones.
I will investigate. Tock will walk over and poke around in the hedge.
Vander will stay flimsily clutching his staff, barely able to stand up.
You move closer. Your hands brush aside the tangled vines, and from within the green emerges a statue, half-buried, weather-worn, but exquisite in its detail. The figure is bent, on one knee, as if in supplication to the water. Every sinew and muscle rendered with such mastery that you half expect the stone to be warm beneath your touch. Whoever the sculptor had been, they knew the form of man as intimately as any master of anatomy. Strange, though. There is no plinth, no name to this forgotten lord, no inscription to tell his story. His face remains hidden, covered by his left hand, while his right hand reaches forward towards the stream.
Bennie, I turn.
What's up, Vander?
I can't help but be slightly disconcerted by this statue, fellow, and his gesture towards the stream you just drank from. How are you feeling?
How am I feeling? I'm feeling all right at the moment. Starting to get a little bit concerned, though.
That might take some monitoring, I think. I extract a chocolate bar from one of my many pockets and gum it while I consider the statue. I don't suppose I can do an investigation check on the statue now I've got full view.
Of course you can.
Then I further investigate with a 22. Jesus.
Now that you can see it clearly, the detail is unmatched to your eye. It's so impressive that you'd be surprised if this was a statue at all. This looks like someone has used some magical means to turn an actual person to stone.
I do that thing that old people do, where despite making a massive song and dance about it, I've eaten next to none of the chocolate bar. I seem sated though, and I stop gumming it, extract a hanky, and wipe my slit of a mouth clean of the chocolate, replacing it while I investigate the statue. Gentlemen, I can't help but feel that statue is A little too excellent to just be craftsmanship. I sense the presence of magic here. Given the gesture towards the stream, I can't help but feel that maybe the water isn't for drinking. What do you think?
Tock will go and have a look at the water and see if he can discern anything unusual about it. Proficiency with alchemist supplies, although he doesn't really have the alchemist supplies on him at the moment.
You can do a check based on alchemist supplies.
Oh, I will test the water. 17.
After 10 years in the wilderness, you're obviously an expert with all things nature, notably its chemical composition. This water seems incredibly clean, and humans should be able to drink it with no problems or ill effects.
I detect no calcifying properties from this water.
Such things give me more pause for concern. Bennie, I'm not a doctor, but it might be an idea to stick 2 fingers down your throat right about now.
Are there any creatures in nature that have this effect?
Give me a nature check.
25. Tock's been about a bit.
Yes, there are creatures who can cause this effect. One in particular is the cockatrice, whose unattended bite can turn people to stone.
Can I check the statue for a bite?
There is what looks like a nip around the ankle, an obvious indentation.
And what else can we know? Would Tock have details of this creature, its habits, its size?
It is about the size of a chicken.
That's going on my memory. I actually don't remember.
Size of a turkey.
Size of a turkey. Okay. It looks like a bit like a bird, doesn't it? It's like an amalgamation animal, I think. A cockatrice.
It's a turkey-sized chicken with scales and bat wings.
It is a hideous creature.
Do you reckon, fellas, maybe he is not placed to camp?
I don't fancy being turned to stone by a large, angry chicken, that's true.
Doesn't seem like a way to go, does it? It's not one that, they don't write songs about that.
No.
Cockatrices are known to move around. May we check the stone for weathering to detect how long it has been here?
An interesting idea. I look back at the stone and continue relying on my amazing check.
I'm guessing that the tree, bright hedge or whatever, has grown around it, hasn't it?
Correct.
Yeah. So it must have,
I suspect it has been here some time.
If you reckon it's an aging statue, maybe we camp here but set up a watch.
It would cost us nothing to move on to a safer location.
No, that's true. That's true.
Tock, do you need sleep?
I require rest, but not unconsciousness.
How utterly terrifying and fascinating at the same time. Would it be possible for you to pull the cart while we sleep and maybe take a shorter rest yourself?
I estimate I would require 6 hours motionless.
That's better than the 24 I usually require. I clamber up onto the cart. Bennie, a ride?
I wouldn't say no, thank you.
So we could take that statue with us. I mean, obviously, at this level, we can't do anything about it, but you can turn people back from stone at an appropriate level.
I don't think where we're going is going to be... I think that's going to just be an added complication.
Just leave him to his fate.
I think his fate was pretty much already happening. I feel like we evaded a DN trap there. Took a bit of unraveling, but...
I still don't know whether... there's only one statue. It was there a long time ago.
He's not put that there for nothing.
Well,
that chicken may be old, but it's there.
Domi's tricksy enough to put something there for nothing to get us...
He is.
To get us in our heads.
You mean to get us exhausted and moving and then hit us with the second thing?
Well, that might be it, yeah.
Oh, well. In which case, we've played right into his hand.
You make camp not far from the statue. A ring of tents is raised among the trees, a fragile sanctuary in the wild land. The fire takes easily, dry branches snapping with cheerful crackles as its light pushes back the creeping dark. Overhead, the heavens reveal themselves, one star at a time, until the sky becomes a vast tapestry, glittering and cold.
What we can do about a bit of a rota for keeping watch then?
I don't mind taking first watch.
All right, very good of you. I don't mind doing second.
That's your turn to chime in there, Tock.
I will watch the whole night. Normally, the stars.
If you could try to keep your attention on the chickens that might try and turn us to stone, that would be delightful.
I'll certainly rest easy knowing that Tock's got his eye on the ball.
Got any plans to offer taking a watch yourself there, Augustus, or just going to have a nice kip?
Yeah, I am rather tired, thank you.
Okay, I'll wake you up when I'm done then, alright.
I'll see you in the morning.
Well, probably about 4, but yeah, call it the morning if you want.
Wonderful.
Don't see a lot of stars like this in the city, do you? So it's alright, I could get used to this.
They are pretty, aren't they?
Yeah, kind of amazing.
I would agree. I did not care for the city.
Was it your first time in the city recently, or where are you?
It was indeed my first time in a city.
Where are automatons from?
I've spent my time in the wild.
Oh, lovely story, Tock. Rich and compelling. How about you, Bennie? Noticed that you seem quite at home in the urban environments.
I spent most of my life in Middleton. Do you know it?
I know a bit of everywhere, not au fait with Middleton per se, but some of it, yes. That where you grew up, was it?
Aye, that's right. Lunadine's Forge, apparently they call it. Soul industry there. Lots of hard workers. The old rich man, getting richer off them, basically.
Fascinating and apropos of nothing. Augustus. All very, very fine wares. I presume you come from a slightly different background to Bennie.
Slightly different, yes, I'd say. I come from the old continent, from Cantioch.
Oh, lovely. And what brings you our way?
Oh, a spirit of adventure.
Oh, I'm sure that's just ahead of us, or maybe behind us, depending on the location of the deranged chicken hell-bent on creating statues of our petrified corpses.
Well, quite. You never know when a deranged chicken's going to turn up, do you?
Ah, as it is often said, very well done, Augustus.
What about yourself, Vander?
Well, I would like to share more of my past, but I am unfortunately a private man by nature, though I have to say I'm no particular fan of the Empire. They've left me with some rather dark memories, shall we say. We've got any Empire sympathisers here?
The Empire are associated with the Bounders, are they not?
That's correct, Tock.
I have no sympathies for them.
Good. It's very good to hear. And yourself, Bennie?
Well, fuck 'em is what I say.
So Tock looks at Bennie in again a very confused way for a little while.
Not being literal, Tock. It's a turn of phrase. It means I'm not fond of 'em.
I am glad.
And Augustus?
Yes, I suppose my sentiments were rather well summed up by Bennie's rather agricultural language. I wouldn't adopt that particular turn of phrase, but if Bennie wants to, as it were, fuck them, then I have no objection. Not literally, Tock. Not to worry. We plan to do mostly not that.
If we encounter Bounders again, I would like to kill them.
Well, I'm not sure that's quite the good idea, Tock. I mean, the Empire probably has more Bounders than even you can kill. And if I recall our last scrape, I did about as much damage to the Bounders by offering them a cigarette as you did by poking them with a stick. So I would suggest fighting all the Bounders indiscriminately might not be the best way to ensure our own survival, which we have to think about as well as the aforementioned fucking of the Bounders.
I agree with your suggestion of discrimination.
I think Augustus has sort of got a point, though I'd say he expresses it in a slightly weird fashion, as appears to be his way. But we're probably somewhat wanted after they find what they're going to find in that warehouse, so it might not be a bad idea to keep our heads down for a bit and not cause any more trouble unless we need to.
I agree. I also think the sentiment we share about the Empire might serve us well before we get to the end of our travels. Where we're going to need some things from them, I'm afraid. So I think on that note, I'm going to turn in. Lots to do tomorrow.
Aren't you on first watch?
Oh, silly. My old bones. Maybe there's time for a bit of chocolate then.
Well, in that case, I am turning in right now. See you later.
Yep. Good night, all. Sleep well.
Can you tell me more about what's in the bag, Tock?
The rucksack or the bag of holding?
Well, an interesting question. The bag of holding, I guess.
Tock will reach into the rucksack, bring out the sack that he Kent had before, loosen the ties on the top, and will sort of bring the mouth of the bag down over a head that almost identically matches his own, except for the extensive damage.
This is Tick.
Friend of yours?
He is my creator.
I see. And I don't suppose you're interested in getting him back somehow?
I seek repairs. This was the function of the memorandum crystal that we recovered from the Bounders.
I see. And once you've got Tick back, what would you plan to do?
Tick will probably decide. I tend to follow. He is my parent.
Well, I have some errands to run, and you look like a very capable person to have along, so however this goes, yourself and Tick are very welcome to join me should you find yourself at a loose end. I'm sure we can come to some accommodation.
I find that acceptable.
All three of my teeth grin back at you. I hunker down on my staff, barely upright, but eyes still gleaming.
Vander, please roll a d20.
15.
Your watch passes without incident.
Nice.
You go and you wake Bennie from his slumber.
I tap him with my cane. Bennie?
Evening.
Your turn, I'm afraid.
All right. Cheers. Have a good sleep.
Ta-ta.
Augustus snores loudly.
You all right there, Tock? Anything to report?
The stars. It is a clear night.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Did you get what you needed from that ruby?
I have not yet attempted repairs. I require more time.
That ruby is just going to fix you up, is it? And is that a one-time thing, or can you use that over and over again?
It is not for me. It is a memory core for my creator, Tick.
For the head in the bag.
Indeed.
Gotcha. And when you get Tick back, does that mean there's going to be two of you in group, or does something else happen?
We are separate individuals.
Okay. But do you come as a team, or do you go your separate ways?
We are a team.
Interesting. Well, curious to see what happens when Tick comes along. Anyway, I'll leave you to your stargazing and get on with my watch.
Bennie, please roll a d20.
8.
Your watch also passes without incident.
Something tells me the chicken rolled badly there.
I go and wake Augustus in a not especially subtle fashion.
Oh, you were serious?
Yep, absolutely serious. Off you pop.
Well,
Night, Augustus.
okay. I thought that fellow didn't have much of a sense of humour. Now I discover I'm being turfed out of my warm bed this ungodly hour.
I make some very noisy, comfortable noises.
I talk loudly to Tock. Hey, Tock!
Hello.
What are you watching, Tock? What do you see in the stars after all this time?
There are constellations, there are moving stars, and there are travelling stars.
You learn anything from them? Or do you just watch them for some relaxation? Is that the right word?
They may be used to tell the time and date.
And that's it? Nothing, you don't get anything else from them?
I have insufficient data.
Fair enough. And if you don't mind me asking, Tock, what do you want?
I seek repairs.
And once you have your repairs?
My goals will change.
And you don't know what they'll change to become?
Not presently. I lack data.
Very wise. Interesting. Well, we all lack data, don't we, at this time? Well, I'll leave you to it, Tock. And I'll probably have a bit of a snooze if you're happy watching.
I shall watch for chickens.
Wonderful. Well, watch for everything. Anything that approaches that's bigger than an ordinary chicken, then wake me up and I'll raise the alarm.
I find this acceptable.
Wonderful. Augustus settles down for a nice rest.
I guess Tock's taking this watch as well.
It's a fair guess.
Tock, please roll a d20.
Roll well, or Benny's going to give me absolute what for, isn't he?
I rolled a 7.
With the gentle snoring of your companions from the tents around you, you hear a rustling coming from the south of your current location.
Tock will reach into his bag, take a small glowing stone and throw it to where the rustling is.
Give me an athletics check, please.
Reassuring to learn that it's an it, for sure.
17.
You hurl it over Augustus's tent and then just walk slightly to the side.
To get a view.
You can see around the stone light is a grotesque turkey-sized chicken with wings like a bat that is currently pecking berries off of a bush.
So it isn't making any aggressive moves towards us. Okay, I think I'm going to try and quietly wake the others.
You three are all awoken by a gentle prodding from Tock.
I will do the universal symbol for quiet and then point over at the grotesque chicken thing. I'm not going to initiate attacking it or anything.
Can these things fly?
I'll give you thumbs up.
Shit.
Is the fire still going?
There is a low ember that is illuminating. With all of you focusing on the grotesque-looking turkey-sized cockatrice, Bennie, you turned round to ask Vander a question, and you can see just over his shoulder a long, hairy black leg is appearing.
I don't panic anyone, but there's a fucking massive spider behind Vander.
Bennie?
But don't worry, I've got a plan.
Oh, good.
Augustus, go and offer a cigarette and see what happens.
That's a fine joke, Bennie.
Well, it's the first he's made. I'm rather impressed in the circumstances.
Does someone want to go and engage the spider that will imminently be stabbing me with its pincers?
Hey, Tock, do you reckon that cockatrice? Do you reckon you're immune to it?
So Tock won't respond because his voice is quite loud, but he will sort of give you a thumb to the side waggling motion.
Question B, do you think you might be immune to the spider as well? Because I'd quite like to go back in my tent. Ooh, thumbs up to the spider. In that case, Tock, I suggest you go and help Vander with the spider. Bennie and I will get our longbows out and keep an eye on this chicken fellow.
Okay, Tock will make his way around the fire and...
No, stealth check, please, Tock.
that will be disadvantage, I'm afraid. Tock is not the stealthiest giant walking suit of armour.
Honestly, I've lost count of the amount of times stealthy giant suits of armour have sneaked up on me.
Quite awesomely, I rolled an 18 and a 16, so 16.
As you begin to move, the obviously loud sound of your armour moving, the cockatrice for a moment lifts its head up from its berry bush, and it looks left to right, and then goes back to eating the berry.
Augustus, we get into cover and, prepare your bow. You know what I mean.
Augustus follows that, so peeks around the tent with the bow, keeping an eye on the spider behind as well.
Vander, you're obviously stock still with a gigantic spider creeping over your shoulder.
I'm going to stay totally still. I send a mental message to Tock, which simply reads, "It's got an eye the size of a meatball."
I'll ready my spear to stab it. Is it still trying to make its way to Vander?
It's on Vander's shoulder now. It's kind of creeping over towards his chest.
Okay, I will use my spear to try and blast it away into the wood.
Give me a athletics check.
14.
With precision, stealthiness, despite your unwieldy size, you line up the shot, swing your spear, and the spider flies 10 feet back into a tree. Everyone roll initiative, please.
3.
Oh, Vander.
19.
5.
16.
Bennie, you are first to act.
Guess I'm going to shoot the cockatrice.
Just in case it might not have seen us.
Well, it feels like it has seen us, and it feels like the thing that needs to get killed first. 15 with the short bow.
That is a hit. Roll for damage.
10 piercing plus 5 additional, I think.
You draw your short bow, making sure to keep Augustus in the loop of what's going, and you let loose the first shot, and it pierces the bulging side of the cockatrice. The animal lets out an ungodly shriek and it's definitely now heading in your direction. It moves in a kind of undulating way, completely unnatural to anything you've seen before. It's going...
Terror turkey.
Augustus.
I am going to fire a longbow at the aforementioned undulating space chicken.
Go for it.
9.
Slightly unaccustomed to fighting.
Tell me it looked good. Did I look full of dash?
Oh yeah, you looked magnificent. And actually, as Bennie watches you, he looks like he knows what he's doing. He's striking quite the pose. And as Bennie gives you the thumbs up, you grin and fire, and the arrow lands with a thud directly in front of the cockatrice, having not hit it.
Well, I may have attracted its attention. How brave! That's very brave. Most people would have tried to just shoot it, but I went all Ian Malcolm and waved a flare at it instead.
The giant spider, having been knocked back by Tock, obviously now with its front 2 legs raised, the venom dropping off of its fangs, it launches itself and attaches itself, Tock, to your face and attempts to bite you. So we'll go with the 8 that misses. Cockatrice, having started to wobble towards Bennie, changes direction and charges at Augustus, leaping in the air.
Let's hope it's a smoker.
21, Augustus.
I deflect it with a plucky can-do attitude.
Excellent. Does that mean it hits?
Yes.
Excellent. And it does 4 piercing damage.
Roger Dodger.
Could you now please give me a Constitution saving throw?
20. That his attack is ruled unconstitutional and overturned.
Do not turn to stone at this time.
Yeah.
The bite hurts, and nothing more.
You might not want to let it do that again.
I don't. I bought these clothes at Batistutas.
Tock.
So, okay, I've got a spider on my face. I'm going to drop my spear, use a hand, take the spider off my face, throw it to the ground, and then draw my mace and start hitting it on the floor, if I can do that. It seems to make more sense to me than hitting my head with the mace. So.
Roll away.
That's only a 12 to hit.
So you do indeed grab the spider off of your face, throw it to the floor, and draw the mace from hanging around your belt. You swing it towards the ground, and with a thud, it just goes into the wet dirt, the spider having leapt suddenly to the left to avoid the attack.
I'll draw it back and wait to have another go.
Vander.
Going to, having very unsteadily got to my feet, I'm going to lean round Tock and attempt to skewer the arachnid to the ground with a magical missile.
Okay.
In aim of kind of pinning it down. So here we go.
So the fun fact about magic missile is you don't need to roll to see if it hits.
Just does.
It just automatically hits. So roll 3d4 and add 3.
So 3d4, add 3, 11.
Please explain what the magic missile does to this spider that you've just annihilated.
So Vander, as I say, leans round Tock and points his cane at the spider. A magical bolt fires direct from the cane. It was obviously intended to spear the spider, but it scuds into centre mass, and bits of leg and venom and spider explode in a kind of weird, gory confetti.
And the giant wolf spider is dead.
I feel like, you know how some kids in the past used to have like insects pinned into books? You know, they kept like books of butterfly stuff. I feel like Vander keeps all the things he kills in some sort of massive collection.
Thought that he carries around with him.
Yes, that's what's on the cart.
Very good, Vander.
Thank you for taking the arachnid off my shoulder there, Tock. Most unpleasant.
Bennie.
I'm just going to move a little and then fire at the cockatrice there. 21.
Obviously hits.
10 piercing.
Okay. Please explain the death of the cockatrice.
The arrow flies true, hits the cockatrice in the flank, and with a hideous scream, the creature slumps to the ground.
I hobble over to the embers of the fire and crouch down, trying to get some warmth back into my bones.
I feel like cockatrice feathers are a thing, a useful thing. So I might go over to the corpse and see if there's anything to be retrieved. I'm going to grab my arrows anyway, either way.
Give me a medicine check.
There's 5.
You attempt to remove some of the feathers and parts of the animal, but you do such a horrible job of it, you basically just end up butchering it in a really bad way. And there's just like a pile of slurry and viscera left on the floor and a load of broken and stained feathers.
Augustus watches with utter disgust. What is Bennie attempting to do?
He is trying to take feathers away with an axe.
What were you saying about your cooking skills? Most impressive.
Yeah, sorry. When it comes to cutting stuff up, I should have come to you, shouldn't I, Vander?
I can't wait to try your rat au vin.
I'll make it for you one day. I'll make it for you. Don't knock it till you've tried it.
Well, I think I've hit a nerve there. Looks like he's spitting feathers.
Actually, not au van. We couldn't afford the van bit of the rat au van. Barbecue rat, Vander. Barbecue rat.
I chuckle and scratch my horsehair fake toupee whilst doing so. Well, gentlemen, I might spend the rest of the night actually sleeping, if you don't mind. Though thank you, Tock, for ridding me of the spider that was going to eat me whole. And well done again, Bennie. You lasted a good 10 seconds before melting into the shadows.
I'm sorry. Who killed cockatrice?
Oh, you, Bennie. Twice, if I'm counting correctly.
Oh, there you go then. And yeah, quality keeping watch, Augustus. Good job. Keep it up.
Thanks very much. You're all welcome.
And I return to Augustus's tent and get into his bed and leave him to watch.
It's really comfortable.
It is lovely. It's an absolute delight.
Was there a water source near here?
Yes, there's a small river very close by, like 20 feet away.
Okay, in which case, whilst Tock doesn't need to drink, he's going to go and get some water. He's still got a water flask. And on the edge of the camp, he's going to open the lockbox he's got and pour some water inside. The rest of you, if you're watching, you see a bit like the scene from Pulp Fiction. As he opens the lockbox, it like a golden glowing light comes out, just bathing him in golden light, and then close it, put it back in his pack, and carry on. So I see Charlie's face just be like, what is that?
Vander is very interested by that.
You guys have rested, eaten your delicious breakfasts, and you are back on the road, only an hour or so away from your location.
Gentlemen, I will shortly be approaching the Nimbus Foundry. It's where they're keeping the elemental. We need that in order to start my craft properly, so I think a bit of teamwork wouldn't go amiss as we try and navigate our way to it.
Who exactly is they in this situation, Vander?
I think we can take this time to mean the Empire, specifically that part of the Empire that likes subjugating children.
Oh, best part of Empire. Yeah, lovely.
One of their many flavours, isn't it? I think there'll be a guard on the gate and we could use a plan for getting past that guard. Any ideas?
What's the setup look like? Is it, high wall, gate, guard? What we got?
That sounds about right. I would, to my mind, I think the guard would be surprised to see something like Tock approach, and even more surprised to find something like Bennie come from behind. Just a thought, you understand.
Let's take a look. I might be able to grapple up the wall, get down the other side, maybe.
Or could we perhaps try walking up and asking them to open the door?
Our diplomacy.
We could try diplomacy and then the mace.
Sounds like a potent combination, Tock.
I'm not against Augustus's plan, but it sounds like the kind of thing you might need to do solo. Maybe with everyone sort of half a mile back. Leave it half an hour. If it hasn't worked out, try something else.
I couldn't agree more. Having the three of you at my side for diplomacy might be an unhelpful situation. Too many cooks, you understand.
Absolutely. Yeah, couldn't agree more.
The broth will end up full of blood and fingers, won't it?
Yeah, it sounds like a soup even Vander wouldn't eat.
You say that now.
Oh no, I'm partial to broth.
Would they let you inside, Augustus, if you asked nicely?
I see no reason why not. Can anyone tell me a bit more about these slavers of children, though? I wasn't really paying attention at the start, and now it sounds a bit worrying.
I see. Well, the Empire does have that unfortunate habit of subjugating all living things, and children, I'm afraid, are no exception.
But in this particular place, I mean, we're in the Empire, so we have to tolerate a bit of empirishness, imperial tomfoolery from these people. Am I expecting this particular location to be some place full of enslaved children for some reason?
I would imagine you would see what I would describe as typical, which is to say a scene of unimaginable human suffering.
Wonderful. Well, that would make 2 days in a row.
Quite. I mean, we have already killed a chicken. I think we're ready.
Right, yeah, let's raise the stakes, as it were.
Indeed.
Following the long path up the hill, the landscape changes. Gone are the rolling fields of emerald green, replaced with greys and browns of stone and mud. The uneven path smooths slightly, and neatly cut boulders sit idly by the side of the road. A sharp left turn brings you to a crevasse in the hillside, and before you stands a set of tall, metal-barred gates. Beyond the gates looms a large factory building with dozens of identical windows, surrounded on three sides by steep, almost vertical inclines, as if the countryside has been scooped out to make room for the factory. Three prominent chimneys on the left-hand side belch out plumes of blackened smoke. In front are dozens of small figures, children, all hunched over, scraping at the dirt with their bare hands. On the right-hand side of the gates is a sentry box, in which sits a man in his late 40s, holding a folded newspaper. He peers at you through the half-circle spectacles on the end of his long nose.
So, I have a plan for the right words to get the effect we want. I maybe lack the muscle to take care of the three obstacles. Any ideas?
If I'm able to sneak round to sentry box, maybe put a knife to guard's throat, I could get him to call over the other two. You know, I don't have to get him to shout straight away, do I? Once I've got him, gives you time to get into position, and then we could handle the other two.
It sounds like a fine plan to me.
It does.
And I suggest we hop to it.
Bennie, let's kick things off with a delicious stealth check, please.
Yeah, this is where the whole thing falls apart, isn't it?
This is basically it. This is the entire scenario.
Tock is going to go. I was going to say, if you want to give an extra D4, he's going to give you some advice.
I'd like an extra D4, please. So there's a total of 13.
The guard has a -1 modifier. Rolls a 12.
Oh!
You have successfully navigated your way up to the eastern side. You then quickly and quietly scramble down the hill and find yourself directly behind the sentry box, where there is a single unlocked door in front of you.
I'd like to very quietly open the door.
The guard is sat there. You can see he's got black hair, but with plenty of greys in it, and he's looking forward, and you can see he has a newspaper in his hand.
I draw my knife, quietly bring it round to the front of his neck, and just say, "Shh, hold still, be very quiet, and now what'll happen?"
Okay. Slowly puts the newspaper down. I don't want any trouble.
No, and you won't get any from me, as long as you do just what I say. Now we're just going to sit here for a couple of minutes. And I wave to the others to let them know that the situation's in hand.
He does not move. Augustus, as you peer around the boulder and look between the gates, you can see the children. They're much closer to you now, maybe 30 feet away. The two guards are stood over them. One of them is currently whipping one of the children. You can see little splatters of blood coming up from their backs. The children are making no sound, however. You also know that Bennie has the sentry guard with a knife at his throat.
Augustus looks to Vander for a view on what to do here.
Vander looks encouragingly back.
Oh dear.
How shall we instigate an attack?
Gonna send a message to Bennie. Summon the guards outside.
I say to the guard very quietly, right, pal, here's what's going to happen. You are feeling very ill and you think you're having an heart attack. You're going to shout that loudly and you're going to call your pals to come and help you. And if you do that, I'm going to tie you up quietly and leave you alone. And if you don't do that, I'm not. Do you understand?
Aye.
Okay, so make it a good acting job. Off you go.
Oh no! I'm having a heart attack!
Bit of a cry of pain, maybe.
Oh! Oh, my heart!
Your chest.
My chest! Oh, won't someone think of my kids? Oh, the heart! Oh no! Tock, Augustus and Vander, you hear this really unconvincing heart attack verbally happening from the sentry. And so do the guards behind the gate, who move worriedly towards the gate to the sound of their colleague having a heart attack. They open and unlock the gates, push them open, and head towards the sentry box.
I think it's time to attack.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So I will, as a leave cover, I will shoot a firebolt at the lead guard and then rush him.
Cool. Okay, we'll do a surprise round. Each of you can do one attack from where you currently are before we roll initiative and do the rest.
Tock is going to get a 17 to hit with a firebolt.
It hits.
6 damage.
Tock raises his hand in the air and a moot of fire blasts out of the end of his hand, flies through the air and smashes the guard in the shoulder. He looks surprised to be attacked, his main concern obviously being his friend having a heart attack. He staggers slightly to the right. Vander.
Despite usually leaning on my stick, I drop pretty nimbly to one knee, raise my stick up, point it at the same guard, and fire magic missile. So that's a 9.
You are burning through your spell slots there, Chuckle.
Please describe what happens to the guard.
My first 2 darts actually fly wide, but the third one straight through the eye socket, and the guard just collapses to the ground. Vander, of course, straightens up in a haggard way and begins very slowly walking in the direction of the fight.
Augustus. There is one guard left. You see the other one basically explode into fire of magic.
Tock is charging at him at the moment, but he...
Yeah, Augustus is outraged by the whipping of the children, and as a gentleman, he has absolutely no interest in weapons of distance. He was happy to hunt chickens that way. But so he draws his rapier, shouts, "Swine!" and leaps towards the guard down the hill. 22 with the rapier.
That is very obviously a hit. Please roll 1d8 and add 3, I believe.
1d8 plus 3, and it's come up with 4, so I must have rolled the 1, right?
Yeah, so you rolled a 1.
Oof.
Oh well.
So having declared him a swine, you run towards him, swing your rapier, and cut him heavily on the arm. Now that you're close to him, you can see that he's holding a whip in one hand, and in his right hand. His left hand has a glove, which appears to have like sharp points on it. Those points are covered in blood as well.
What a charmer.
Bennie, the guard that you're holding at knife point, is currently still talking about his fake heart attack. He's doing his best.
I'm not sure he deserved this after that performance, but a deal's a deal, and I attempt to tie him up using my hempen rope.
Give me a dexterity check.
19.
You comfortably tie him up. He looks uncomfortable at having his hands behind his back, but he's stopped faking a heart attack and he's just sitting in silence with his hands.
I hobble past at this point, having just about reached the actual fighting, and I withdraw a hanky. It's only a bit used. Very restrained, by the way.
Cool. Done. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Gagging him with a disgusting handkerchief.
And it is disgusting, let me tell you.
I bet it is.
Nice work on the heart attack, by the way. Very resourceful.
Don't compliment him on that. It was awful.
Pleasure. I carry on hobbling in the direction of fighting.
The guard strikes at Augustus with a 21.
Honestly, Augustus is Taylor. He's going to have a real job on his hands.
Please take 3 slashing damage. Tock, you have arrived at the guard.
Yeah, Tock was caught up with Augustus, he's holding his mace high above his head. He's just going to run into the guy and try and hit him at the same time. Doesn't manage the hitting, rolls a 6.
Your mace thumps into the ground ineffectively. Vander.
I am going to use telekinetic hand to push the guard back from Augustus. As I'm hobbling towards and still really struggling really to make any headway, I thrust my hand up and try and force the guard a step back from how to take him out of combat.
They need to do a constitution check against your spell save DC. 11, it's not enough. So Augustus, you've just been hit by this guard, and to your right, Vander just raises a hand in the air, and the guard suddenly is pushed away from you, 5 feet back from your combat. You can take an attack of opportunity if you wish, Augustus.
I will. I'll have another go at him with the rapier, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
22.
A hit. Please roll for damage.
11.
Please explain how Augustus kills the guard.
He whips the rapier around, and the tip of it neatly slits the man's throat, and he slumps to the ground like the treacherous dog he is, dies in the dirt.
Graphic. Lovely.
Well, a couple of days with these boys, and I'm basically Hannibal Lecter.
It's been one day.
I didn't add anything about jumping on him and drinking his blood, so I think we're okay.
You guys are stood in front of the factory. The gates are open. There is 1 guard tied up and 2 dead at your feet.
I finally make it to Augustus, panting now because I've covered at least 25 meters. Oh, silly goose. Lost his footing there, didn't he?
Yes, and his windpipe. I think the bigger problem we have, Vander, is that we're now the official carers of 25 children.
Oh, a good point. I guess that does progress us to stage 2 of the plan.
I'm sorry, the plan was to open a nursery of some kind.
Maybe I'll carry on in the direction of the children and show you just what kind of a nursery I plan on running.
Can they not survive in the wild at their age?
Not if Vander gets anywhere near them. Vander, I think perhaps you should keep your distance from the children, for their sake as much as yours.
Vander spreads his arms wide. Children love me.
Augustus very cautiously allows Vander to continue, but does not lower his sword.
I hobble towards the children. Children, I've got some chocolate.
Any soup, Gov?
I thought you were slightly changing the trajectory of Vander this episode, making him less horrifying.
Every time you think he's getting less horrifying, he is in fact getting more horrifying.
It was a ruse.
I go as far as I can. I'm hoping the children will make the distance back to me, because Vander's done a lot today.
The children have seen what's unfolded, and they nervously walk towards you. A small girl with curly blonde hair steps forward and raises her hand for a piece of chocolate.
I deftly cut a little section off and hand it to her and begin cutting the chocolate and handing it out to the children one by one.
They look incredibly nervous, and now that you're close up, you can see that they're covered in cuts and bruises. Their ages range between 5 years old and maybe 10 or 11, but they hungrily wolf down the pieces of chocolate you distribute to them.
What possible use could the Empire have had for such young children?
A good question. I often wonder what the Empire's plans are, though of course the human body can survive a remarkable amount of pain, I find.
Would appear to be the expert.
Quite. And I turn back to the children.
One of the children raises their hands in the air. It's because we have small hands.
I see.
What have you been doing, my child?
Been constructing airships. We need our small hands to harvest the raw metals, they said.
Is this all you know, lad?
Yes. We have to pay off our tithes.
Yeah, a sad existence, isn't it? Well, I was once a guest of the Empire, you know. I'm sure you think that if you do what you're told, you might avoid the lash, maybe make some airships, pay off your tithe, and life might improve. Well, I know you're young, but I'm afraid that's not always how the story goes. I've got a different idea, though. How about you escape today? I produce a knife and hand it handle first to who appears to be the ringleader. What's your name, lad?
Jack?
Now, Jack, you seem like a resourceful boy. The chocolate was to indulge your sweet tooth, and the knife here is to indulge your sense of taking that freedom you might enjoy. How about you go and cause a little havoc?
Jack takes the knife out of your hand, looks at it for a moment as he spins it around, and then he grips the handle tightly, looks you in the eyes, and nods.
Excellent, a natural-born killer. I thought you might be good at this. Well, nothing more for me to say then, other than enjoy.
Query. How many more guards are there in this complex?
There's only 5 more, I think.
Well, spread the word to your friends.
I'm sorry, Vander. Is the plan here to arm a child with a knife and leave him to kill 5 adult guards?
I had the plan down as have the kids cause a bit of chaos that will make it easier for us to dispatch the guards. I'm not sure, but I feel like I'm agreeing with Augustus again. I don't think we leave them to it.
I'm highly agreeable.
I turn back to the two. Well, of course, all suggestions are welcome, but I guess I live on the principle if you're old enough to be whipped half to death, you might also be old enough to take on your captors and claim your own freedom. Not saying that if we don't meet any guards, we might dispatch them ourselves, but chaos is always useful in a situation like this, and we're all busy people.
While this conversation is going on, a few of the children have moved towards Vander. When he finishes speaking, they hug him around his leg and around his waist.
I turn to Augustus. You see, they love me.
Truly, you're the Pied Piper of this factory.
I nod, apparently not taking the cynicism in that comment.
Tock isn't going to wait around, walk towards the factory.
The children see Tock marching through and begin to fall in line behind him, marching towards the factory.
I'm going to hobble along after them. A merry band.
I look round. Is there just a single entrance, or are there multiple?
There are 2 entrances at the front, and you suspect there will also be an entrance on either side as well.
I shout to Tock. We'll go in on right-hand side, see if you can drive them towards us, and we'll start shooting.
Who is us?
Well, me and Augustus. You try and keep kids behind you, and away from weapons.
Now I find myself agreeing with Bennie.
We'll try and salvage a little bit of Vander's plan.
Well, very, very decent of you to call it a plan.
Yeah, a bit much, isn't it? Well, I start running towards the right-hand door.
Yeah, Augustus goes to you.
On the way there, Tock is going to, from his kit, he's going to take like a ointment thing and cover himself with it slightly, casting false life. I sense there may be violence.
Before you or Bennie are able to reach the doors, with an army of children behind you and Vander behind them, with Augustus sweeping out to the right, you see a number of guards sprint out of the front door. 2 come out of the left-hand door, and before you can react, the children charge towards them, being led by the one holding the knife. The guards take a defensive position. The lead child leaps like a feral animal onto the guard and begins stabbing him repeatedly in the face. While his colleague looks at the attack happening, he's momentarily shocked as the swarm of children overrun in and begin to beat him onto the floor. You see a third guard look out from the doorway and then shut the door.
Can I make it to that guy before he can close the door?
Give me an athletics check.
Try and jam his spear in between the door jambs to stop it closing. 22 on athletics.
To cover the short distance, and he gets to the door just as the guard is pulling it closed.
I'll just run straight into the door and knock it open.
And that's a natural 1 for the guard, who gets obliterated by Tock at the door opening. You smash through. Bennie and Augustus, you've just seen the children swarming over 2 guards and then Tock charging through them, through a door. You hear screams from inside the factory.
for the lack of a better idea, I'm going to continue with my plan to go through the right-hand door, see what happens.
I think Augustus is going to swerve and go to the door where Tock's gone through, worried that the kids are basically now in a battle with adult guards.
Vander?
I'm going to carry on through the door, following Tock, his magnificent example of smashing straight through.
Sometimes you got to use weighing 310 pounds to your advantage.
Yeah, it was a bad day for the guard when he tried to close the door as that was happening.
NFL linebackers at the door.
Augustus, you have reached the children and the two guards. The two guards are dead by the time you get there. They've been just beaten to death by a sea of children. The children have been worked up into a frenzy.
And quite there to save their souls. That's unfortunate.
The children now appear to be branching off into different directions.
Children, stop. Come here.
We're free.
You're safe. Wait. We'll just wait with us, and we'll work out what to do with you.
They're not gonna beat us anymore, are they?
They can't beat you anymore. They can't do anything anymore. They're gone.
You can see them panting. They're obviously overly excited, overly stimulated by what's just happened. And despite them being covered in blood, they all just launch into a hug. Find yourself being swamped by the hugs of now free children.
Augustus kind of accepts that, but doesn't sort of uncertain about that, and he tries to kind of ease them to the ground and kind of get them sort of settled around him as far as possible.
The main factory floor is filled with large vats which are tilted away from the wall and suspended by thick metal chains. Beneath them, flames lick up and heat the bottoms. You can feel the unusually intense heat on your faces, and the flames are making particularly loud, crackling sounds. Through a porthole, you can see molten hot metal in each of the vats. Inside the factory are a number of workers sorting different chunks of metal into baskets, while others carry them up ladders to openings in the vats. Enormous taps intermittently open, and molten metal pours into moulds of different sizes. Sat between the second and third vats in a large glass box, there appears to be a small, constantly moving tornado.
Air elemental, I imagine. Tock is going to immediately launch a firebolt at the guard in front of him. He rolled very poorly there, only a 10 to hit. He missed. After that, he will move up into contact with him and, ready his spear.
I'm going to actually do something unusual. I'm going to move into contact with the guard. Then I'm going to use telekinetic hand to push him out of combat with us, which I presume is going to allow both me and Tock a reactionary strike. And my reactionary strike is to take my cane and place it behind his foot. So he's going to tumble over my cane as I force him to fall backwards over it.
Unseen force pushes the guard suddenly out of combat with both you and Tock. Tock, please take an attack of opportunity. You can do it at advantage, as he has been knocked prone.
Wonderful. I will, stab him with my spear. Tock's rolling awfully today. So that's only a 10, even with advantage.
Unfortunately, Vander's sudden movement throws Tock slightly, so when you stab at the guard with the spear, you miss. You hear the clink as it hits the floor. Whereas what he's actually going to do is turn over onto his stomach and begin to crawl towards the door. They are going to draw very small crossbows, and they're going to shoot at Vander both times. That is a 14.
So I'm casting shield, so it's a miss for the first one.
And the second one with a miss also. So the two guards pull out their crossbows, fire twice at Vander, who spins surprisingly quickly, raising his hand in the air, and the two bolts flying towards him get deflected and just fall inertly on the floor. Bennie.
So what I'm hearing is nobody's noticed me,
No one has noticed you, Bennie.
so I can do a sneak attack.
Go on, Bennie, do your sneak attack.
21.
Obviously hits.
8 piercing.
So from the shadows, Bennie lets fly with his short bow, and the arrow embeds itself in the back shoulder of a guard. He screams in pain, but remains standing. Augustus, you have managed to calm down around half the children. A number of them have run out the gates and are now off in the distance. From inside, you can hear the sounds of combat.
Stay here, children, I say, and then, I'll draw my sword and get in through the door.
It takes your entire turn to get in, so you will now join.
I have successfully got in.
Back to the top of the round with Tock.
Okay, so I'm ignoring the guy who's basically crawling off towards the door as not being much of a threat. And I'm going to charge the guy in front and stab him with my spear. Rolling slightly better than before with 18.
It's a hit.
7 piercing damage.
So ignoring the crawling guard, you charge forward with your spear and just impale the guard through the stomach, momentarily lifting him off his feet. Pull it out. There's a splat of blood on the floor, and he again screams in pain, but is still standing. Vander.
I'm going to carry on moving up the way towards the elemental. This guard that's
he's crawling towards the door.
About to be taken over by a group of feral children
yeah.
with appalling consequences, I imagine.
For everyone.
I mean, appalling consequences seems to be the theme of this quest so far.
Not a bad name for the quest.
I'm going to continue on my way across the floor, but turn and again, kinetic hand push that guard out of contact with Tock.
It's a fail. Tock, would you like an attack of opportunity as the guard is thrust away from you 5 feet?
Oh, will indeed. But an 11, I'm assuming, will not hit.
Is a hit.
It is. I see what their armor is then. Not very good. Only 3 damage.
Slice with your spear across his chest, and more blood splatters out around him. He is not long for this world, but he is still alive. Guy is going to crawl, and he reaches up and he grabs a chain which is hanging, and he's able to pull it. From above, you hear a creaking as something large and heavy falls from the ceiling, landing directly on top of him and crushing him to death.
Oh, crap.
Why would they install a comedy anvil? Oh, it's not a comedy anvil. It's nothing not funny at all.
Stood where he was is a 6'8" automaton.
Well,
We've got a 6'9" automaton, so
actually, he's also 6'8".
Well, I thought that. I listened to the recording of the last one, and he was referred to as both.
I may have been inconsistent.
It might have been Vander. No, I think it was Vander who, after a lifetime of making outlandish claims about the size of things.
Gorgeous.
So the guard attacking Tock, 16.
Nope. Bounces off.
The guard attacking Bennie, 19.
Yep.
4 damage. He slashes at you with a small knife he has. And Bennie, it is your turn to retort.
I'm going to slash back with a small knife that I also have. That is a natural 1.
Game of natural Uno.
So the guard is able to duck and weave.
I mean, it looks like he could have just stood still and dodged that one.
As you two get into a slightly elaborate dance.
Maybe stop dance fighting Benny and actually hit the guy.
Shame we're not recording video, so you can't see my dance knifing. Oh well, that'll be on for the Patreon subscribers, won't it?
Augustus.
Well, feels like the more pressing issue is the 6'8" automaton.
Very much so.
Am I close enough to run up and hit him?
Yeah, you can certainly get to him. And the automaton turns to face you.
Lovely. Natural 20. 25.
That'll be the way to do it.
Outrageous.
Followed by 7 piercing damage. Also augmented by a piercing stare.
That's a big hit. A very big hit. So the automaton, 6'8" of pure metal killing machine. And Augustus, who's just entered the room, charges directly at him, draws his rapier, and plunges it deep within the oak and metal heart of the creature. You hear fizzing and shaking. The creature seems quite heavily affected by that attack.
I suggest you give up now, my friend.
And now it's the automaton's turn.
Oh, wonderful.
More balls.
So you notice that it's on its 2 arms are blades, and it begins to swing both blades in your direction. So the first one just clinks off your armor. 23 for the second.
Is 23 higher than 16?
Oh.
A natural Uno.
Please take 4 damage.
That still puts me pretty close to the felt. If my gang of noble outlaws could weigh in at this moment, the noble Augustus will furnish you with a very fine hat.
It's all right. Charlie is about to push him backwards.
I can neither confirm or deny.
You're going to give him a shove with 2 fingers and say, hold me back.
Tock, back to the top of the round.
Tock, have you finished your guard?
No, he's like on 1 hit point, basically. Okay, I will try spearing this guard to death and then run over to help. No, I've rolled awfully. It's a 7.
Once again, the guard is able to deftly dodge your clumsy spear attack.
Why did we get the shit robot? Why didn't we get Edward Battle Hands?
Tock, would you like to do anything else?
Cuddle? Milk and a pancake? Colourful language?
And the duster?
I haven't got anything that would bonus action.
Oh, Vander.
I'm going to push the automaton out of combat.
That's a 5.
You've rolled awfully.
Augustus, all of a sudden, the Edward Scissor Arms, or whatever you called him, gets launched 5 feet away from you. You may swing your rapier in an attack of opportunity, if you wish.
I do wish. 19.
That's a hit. Please roll damage.
5 piercing.
The automaton is not looking in great shape.
Feels a bit like everyone in the room is now dancing.
Right, the guard is going to attack Tock. 13 is a miss.
Not even close.
And the other one is going to attack Bennie. 13?
That is also a miss.
So yeah, real awesome combat all round, as now there are 2 pairs of partners dancing. Bennie
11.
is a hit.
8 piercing.
Please explain what happens to the dancing guard.
As the guard reaches out to stab Bennie, Bennie neatly sidesteps and plunges his own dagger into the guard's stomach.
Would you like to move, Bennie?
And I politely suggest you move very quickly towards the really terrifying giant killer robot that's about to cut me in half. And you've previously voiced the opinion that people should help friends when friends are in trouble.
Sure, I will come towards.
Augustus.
I will launch myself heroically at my foe. Launch. 13.
You swing the rapier and the automaton raises his bladed arm and there's a clink as he deflects your blow.
Danger here.
The automaton retaliates immediately. 13
I've got 16 armor class, so right, I'm okay there.
and a 10. So he blocks your attack and then he launches 2 attacks of himself, which you deftly, with incredible footwork, parry twice with your rapier. Cling, cling.
Augustus smiles derisively.
Tock, what have you got?
Tock's gonna try and stab this guard again, see if we can get rid of him. He rolled a 20.
Is a hit.
Is a hit, right.
4 or more damage.
2 damage.
Brilliant. So you actually hit with the spear this time, cutting into the side of the guard, who drops to one knee, takes a deep breath, stands back up and holds onto his sword, ready to keep going.
Well, the blind squirrel was right on the verge of finding a nut there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Don't worry. Keep digging, buddy. You'll get there.
Oh, I've rolled atrociously.
Logically, you're an invincible robot, and he's mortal, so eventually he will die of old age.
Yeah.
Let's hope he's got a pre-existing respiratory illness.
He works in an industrial smelting factory, so he probably does.
Yeah, I'd say so. And also, mental health can't be great when you're torturing kids and working in a factory at the same time.
Vander.
I am going to get all the way to the elemental, having hobbled my way across there. I'm going to
What's going on here?
push the automaton again, and I'm going to speak as well, but to the elemental.
So you're running away and talking to some rocket fuel.
You're right, I could push someone else.
Well, you could push that guard.
I don't know if that would help anything.
That might do him. It might finish him off.
You are unable to move the automaton this time.
Thanks for your help, Pushy McShovey.
I do have some good news, though, Alex.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I'm interested in glad tidings from afar.
Well, I'm not sure I'm going to tell you now.
Oh, feelings hurt.
Vander.
There was.
The good news. I must have the good news immediately.
Okay, the good news is, if Vander had successfully pushed him away from you, I wouldn't have been able to sneak attack him, but now I can.
Yay!
Vander, you wanted to talk to someone? Was it the elemental?
Yes. So I've asked it, can it hear me?
All you hear in response is the swirling sounds of air. Terminator guard is about to attack Tock again. Absolutely refusing to die under any circumstances. 21.
Yeah, 21 is a hit.
Oh, delicious. 7 slashing damage, please.
That takes out all my temporary hit points.
As he stabs you as you had stabbed him. You see him smirk as blood is pouring out of his mouth. Bennie.
I'm going to aim a shot at the automaton over there.
Specify which one.
Crazy move. Bennie takes out Tock.
I will aim a shot at the automaton. 16.
Is a hit. Exactly what you needed.
6. So 14 total.
Nice.
Please explain what happens to the automaton.
As the arrow from Bennie flies across the room and embeds itself in the automaton's chest, you hear a loud fizzing sound and whirring, and suddenly it simply grinds to a halt and drops to the ground.
Augustus brushes down his jacket.
Well, Augustus, it is your turn. Would you like to spend your turn brushing down your jacket?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I would, yeah.
God's still not dead, is he?
Yeah, that one
Like,
guy
that's
is
that
still with
then.
it.
Yes, Augustus will rearrange his dress and consider for a moment some sort of witty Bruce Willis style pun to use about a robot that falls over and dies. Can't think of it right now. I can't just tell him to chill out. What's it going to be?
Is that Lord Bruce Willis of Cantioch?
Yes, he was my uncle. I met him at Maldini's.
How about you've failed that test of your metal?
Beautiful. That'll do nicely. I do that and then tug my jacket by the lapels to rearrange it because a gentleman always looks his best.
And then not held Tock.
I mean, Tock's on his own in this one. We just killed a warbot.
Tock, we're back to you, buddy.
I stabbed the immortal one more time. Why won't you die?
Because you keep doing that.
So yeah, rolling a 3, I managed to grand total of 6.
Come on, Prodzilla, get on with it.
Gonna roll this out for another turn.
The guard grins as you lazily stab at him with this spear, and he just ducks out the way and puts a finger to his mouth and goes, shh. Oh dear, he's openly mocking you despite the fact he's basically dead.
I admire his pluck.
Vander.
I think Vander's having a chat with a vat of magic at the moment. It's best I can figure out what's going on.
I'm just going to turn, look at the Tock situation, sigh, and then point my finger at the guard and go for Mind Thirst.
It's a hit.
5.
Vander, please explain what happens to the immortal guard.
I turn and point my finger at the guard. The guard who's mocking passes away quietly in his sleep.
At grand old age.
Todd, while you're fighting this guard and he's grinning and telling you to shush and throwing shade away, his eyes suddenly widen and he just collapses to the floor and you have no idea why.
By all accounts, it's an extremely peaceful death after a very long life.
He died surrounded by his family.
Well, at least he's not actually immortal. Right.
You guys are out of combat. Well, I'm going to say if you would like to open the vat, you are welcome to do so.
Gentlemen, I think it might be best to allow the children to leave the room before we discuss matters with the elemental directly. I fear this might be more dangerous than even Tock's great encounter.
And a brave and heroic battle that was. Augustus goes with the children to try and, prevent a stampede of 5-year-olds out into the night.
And I wander over to the automaton to have a look, see if there are any parts that might be salvaged or if there's anything of interest.
Well, that was actually what Tock was thinking of doing as well. It just depends whether Vander is about to do something ill-advised.
I'm happy to wait while you inspect a fallen colleague.
Oh, so you are planning to do something ill-advised, but you're just going to give it 5 minutes?
Oh, always planning something ill-advised, but yes, please take all the time you need.
If Bennie's interested, Tock will give a rundown of what's in the automaton, like parts of it and stuff.
I'm interested with special focus on valuable bits.
Tock will crack open the back. There's a back plate on his head, on the back of the automaton's head. Inside, you'll see a clear ruby-like gem. You notice exactly the same as the one, basically that we just retrieved from the Bounder's station.
This gem is Memorandum. It is the memory core of the automaton. It is the most valuable part.
Could that be useful for us to find out what they were doing here?
Possibly.
Can you use it for something else? Like,
I have no use for this memory core. It does not contain the memories that I seek.
if you don't need it, I'll take it. Might be useful. Might be sellable.
The memories may be recoverable.
And how would you go about doing something like that?
It is not something I have done before. I would theorize that you could use an automaton. There may be additional methods. I have insufficient data.
Well, it feels like it can't hurt to have it, doesn't it?
I'm going to look around, check that we've got our looting done.
Indeed.
Well, gentlemen, there is no way of doing the next bit with no safety issues, so I guess it's time to hope and pray.
And with that, I turn and open the chamber of the elemental. As I do,
A word of advice. If it attacks, we will die, so let's not cast the first stone.
Flick the latch, and it explodes up. You can hear wind, the sound of a storm, localized directly in front of you. Spinning clouds form into a giant, almost humanoid figure floating in front of you. It opens its mouth.
Greetings, spirit.
Freedom!
I understand you will be most upset to have been kept in this fashion. Quite unjust, I completely agree.
Who are you?
My name is Vander Finnick, and behind you see an assortment of my friends. An eclectic bunch, but all mean you no harm.
You are nothing.
I understand that you might take a dim view of us, but we are here to free you. I hope that goes over well.
It does.
That's good to hear. I'm no fan of the Empire.
I genuflect slightly whilst wobbling on my staff.
I was wondering if you might be interested in a change of circumstances.
Speak further.
You see, I have a vessel. I say a vessel, a home of sorts, and we, I guess, would be a family of sorts. We could offer you accommodation, only if you'd like to come, of course. If you did, we would, well, hopefully take to the skies and allow you to do pretty much what you've always wanted to do. And I would imagine there'll be ample opportunity to fairly repay the Empire for their discourteous treatment of you. Sound good?
Give me a persuasion check.
We're all dead, guys. If this goes wrong. Okay.
I'm halfway out the door, to be fair. Good luck.
Yeah, noticed.
I've situated myself next to Augustus at the door.
Tock has faith in Vander.
21.
Acceptable. Let us rain death upon the usurpers.
Even for Vander, there's a slight sigh of relief.
Well, excellent. I'm very glad you've accepted. A pleasure to have you aboard.
The elemental's face, made entirely of swirling wind-like energy, leans in close to you, Vander.
The Empire will fall.
Vander smiles back.
Good.
Tock is also going to chime in with,
Good.
If that guy's happy, I'm happy as well. So,
Augustus doesn't want to pee in his nice trousers, so he doesn't say anything.
And the air elemental's surprisingly muscular form stretches up, and it lets out a roar of delight. And we'll end it there.
You've been listening to Dice Company's Small Embers, starring Dave Windust as Bennie Quez, Alex Morrison as Augustus Zeno, Charlie Blackadder as Vander Finnick, and Harry King as Tock, with Tom Patrick as your Dungeon Master.
I mentioned it would be nice to get everyone to introduce their character name, class if you want to, and a fun fact.
Not sure my character's full of fun facts. I've just got facts. My character is Vander Finnick, and a fun fact is, you may think he's absolutely disgusting already, but what you might not have picked up on is that he's got a denture as his top row of teeth there. So as badly formed as his face is, you haven't yet seen it without the top set of teeth there. It's not pretty.
Disgusting. Excellent.
Absolutely foul.
I don't know what I imagined, but it wasn't that.
See, facts, not fun facts.
I'm Harry. I'm playing Tock, who is a Warforged artificer. And a fun fact is that he is currently carrying an identical copy of himself in a bag.
Fantastic. I mean, this is going to be a smash hit, if ever I've heard it. We've got dentures and an identical copy in a bag.
I don't know if I'm that excited about dentures, but weirdly, I am excited about the completely random identical copy of himself in a bag.
Hello, I am Dave, and I am playing Bennie Quez, who is a lovable rogue, or at least a rogue. And a fun fact about Bennie is, in his younger days, one of his friends rated his barbecued rat recipe 5 stars out of 5.
I've heard the key to it is ketchup.
Guys are just the worst.
Rat soup? Do you reckon you get rat soup?
Yeah. What were you expecting?
I don't know. When we left off last time, you lot were having met in the basement warehouse. You killed 3 bounders. Congratulations. And then tortured a 4th. It was a nice touch.
We regret that now. Just so you know, I don't suppose the game well cares, but we're
reformed characters, are you?
Yeah, I wouldn't go reformed.
The rest of us never wanted to torture the 4th one in the first place.
Tock was ambivalent about it.
Yeah, the main thing is that we're collectively sorry about that.
No, so I'm Alex. I'm playing Augustus Zeno, a paladin. And my fun fact is that I'm going to make up loads of intelligent-sounding quotes and attribute them to people I make up.
Good stuff.
Your fun fact was really more prepare for fun facts.
Prepare for more fun facts, because there are plenty more annoying things where that came from. So my guy's a paladin, right? I don't think I've ever done a Warhammer campaign, have I?
Yeah, you definitely did.
Yeah.
Years and years ago now.
Oh yeah, ages ago.
He started off as a quest in a dungeon where you guys were naked and you had to find stuff. And Imran got blinded. And then I split it into 2 groups.
Oh, yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, then I introduced Harry as a character with a lot of money. And Harry obviously very coyly didn't tell everyone all the money he had. And no one believed him and just started badgering him in actual, where the fuck's the money? Give me the money.
Yeah, I was really taken aback by that. It's like, you're suddenly so aggressive. It just all went wrong. And so, my character turned to a villain and kidnapped Charlie, I think.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. How'd he turn out? Did he get murdered horribly?
All of you died horribly.
Yep.
But the good news is the other party ended up saving the world, although only 2 of them survived.
Swings around about.
Exactly. And on the plus side, it was Mickey and Shovels, so Imran and Scott died, which felt on balance like the right decision.
Feels appropriate.
Thanks for listening. Please consider supporting Dice Company on Patreon, where for the price of a cup of coffee you get access to a whole other show, Extra Roll, as well as an ad-free listening experience. The Dice Company Discord server, along with our socials, can be found on our Linktree in the show notes. If you enjoyed this chapter, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to recommend us to your friends. If you didn't like it, recommend us to your enemies. And we'll see you next time on Dice Company.